Welcome in to Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. If you're going to complain about the show at all, then you need to stop right now and just be happy that unlike the producer of my show, Jason Martin, I show up and go to work every day. Other people who work for me, they just vanish. If you don't listen to the radio show, let me just kind of take you into the morning's radio show, all right? I wake up really early in the morning. Everybody who's on the show wakes up really early in the morning. So I get up at like 4:30 at the latest every morning. We're staying in a hotel connected to Radio Row, which is on the Mall of America up here in Minneapolis, where I'm doing this live for the Super Bowl from my bedroom, okay, from my hotel room. So this morning, all right, I just want to take you into the world, all right? Last night, they have a Super Bowl party for all media. And the Super Bowl party is actually in the Mall of America, and it's amazing. It's amazing. They have all of these roller coasters. They have unlimited alcohol. They have champagne. They have mixed drinks. They have gelato. They got everything you could possibly imagine. So I'm standing with JMart like 30 minutes into the party. It's like 8 p.m. We're literally staying in the hotel where the party is being thrown. The media party, like I said, just flat out amazing. Everybody's running around. And so I see JMart just pounding these vodka waters. I mean, just pounding them left and right. And I'm like, dude, you've lost 150 pounds. Are you sure you're okay? He's like, man, this is awesome. All right. Everybody's there, our bosses, everybody at Fox. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to stay at this party. I'm going to drink. But I'm a veteran of drinking, right? So you start off drinking heavily. You start off drinking heavily at like 7:30. If you know you have to be up insanely early, you don't drink as much as the night progresses, right? I'm a veteran. So you drink at 7:30, drink at 8:30, 9:30. Then you start to taper off because you know you got to be up early the next morning at 4:30 when the party ends. So I don't see JMart for a while, but I'm talking to JMart, and there's all these things you can do, and I decide I'm just going to ride the roller coasters. The roller coasters were awesome, so I'm riding the roller coasters, different people, texting with our boss who runs Fox Sports Radio, who's also there. He's from Minnesota, Scott Shapiro, and so we're all having an incredible time. I see JMart, and I'm like, hey, JMart, what are you going to do? Like, what do you want to do the most here at this party? And he says, I really want to do the zip line. Mind you, we're talking about a 38-year-old dude. There's all these things to do. There's all these girls everywhere. I'm like, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to do the zip line. So I start riding everything, like all these places, right? All these roller coasters. Up above me, I'm pretty sure that I see JMart going by on the zip line across the entirety of Mall of America. Never seen a grown man on a zip line like that before. Like, my kids always want a zip line. JMart wants the zip line, all right? So later that night, I don't see him at all. I just go ahead and go home. I'm like, he's a grown man. He's going to be able to handle himself. I'll see him in the morning. 4:45, we meet at the Skyway that connects our building. All right, people, I said, like, how is Minnesota? How are you handling the weather? I have not been outside in 80 hours. I'm not kidding about that. I got on the light rail at the airport. I rode directly to the hotel in the mall. I came inside, and I haven't been outside for 80 hours. Not doing anything. I haven't been anywhere. I haven't done anything other than the mall and the radio show and the party. Now, I'm going to go out to dinner and leave the mall in a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like my lifestyle right now. I think I would be a great astronaut on Mars because I haven't had to leave, and I haven't at any point felt like, you know what? I need to fill the air. I need to fill the sky. No, it's cold. I don't understand why I would need to go anywhere. So 4:45, I see JMart. We're about to walk over, and he looks really rough. Like, he's leaned up against the wall, and I'm like, man, are you okay? We have like a 5-minute walk to the set. Big day on the set. It's Wednesday, Super Bowl week, insanely booked. All these guests, Terrell Davis, Alex Marvez. We've got also on top of that, we've got the former coach of the A&M and the Green Bay Packers. I've already forgotten his name, but we had him. What's his name? What's the guy's name who I'm thinking of? The coach before Sumlin. Anyway, we already had him on the show. We did that. Great show. I sit down and I start the show, and I know things are a little bit awry when I sit down because JMart is supposed to send me all of the live reads for the show. And I go into my email, and I look at it, and he has sent me an email with no attachments and nothing connected to it. It just says Wednesday live reads, and there's nothing there. No text, no email. And I'm like, dude, you didn't actually send me the email. You just sent me a attachment. So I sit there with him. I'm like, what in the world's going on? I do my open. Halfway through my open, I look over, and I swear to God, JMart has laid down on our table. We have this massive set. He's got his head on the table. He's got his arms all akimbo, laid out like he's a dead man who got shot at a saloon in the Old West. And I'm trying to do my open here for the show, all right? I have no idea what he is actually thinking or what he is actually doing. So I finished the open, and I haven't seen his face. Like, he's not faced me. And I sit to him, and Mike Sherman is who we talk to, and I sit next to him, and I say, man, I got to tell you, this is unbelievable. I said, JMart, are you okay? And he pulls himself up, and he looks like he has Ebola. I mean, his face is all flushed. He literally has got water covering his face. Literally water covering his face. I'm not making this up. He is streaming water down his face, and it looks like he might die. All right, I think for a minute, my God, he might die. I said, dude, you just get out of here. So JMart gets up, leaves his laptop, vanishes and disappears, and I don't have any idea where he is. All right, I got to continue and do my show all by myself. There's all these producers coming up to me. It's a zoo. So I assume that JMart will text me and be like, hey, I made it back, or that he's going to go back for like 45 minutes and recover. And I don't have any idea what happened. So the social media coordinator gets there. Social media coordinator gets there and he says, like, where's Jason Martin? I say, I don't know. He said, you know, he was bragging about how much alcohol he could drink and also the fact that he didn't need sleep. So evidently JMart, after he leaves me, sees our boss from Fox Sports Radio and the other guys walking around with him and says two things. One, they say like, hey, how are you up so late? Are you worried about getting up tomorrow? And he says, no, sleep is not a necessity. It's a luxury. JMart says, I swear to God, sleep is not a necessity. It's a luxury to our boss. And then he tells our boss, this is my 8th drink. I'm going to find this out. We're going to bring it out on the air tomorrow. Scott Shapiro is going to have to be on, our boss. And I'm like, oh my God, this is your 8th drink? Like, that totally makes sense. JMart's a lightweight. He almost died of alcohol. So he doesn't show up. This is after he doesn't show up on the quarter inch of snow. So in the second hour of the show, I say, let's find out what's going on with JMart. So if you haven't downloaded the podcast, you need to listen to it. This is all 100% the truth. The guys back in LA, my producers, are like, where's Jason Martin? What shows do we have scheduled to tape? What do we need to know? So I say, man, this is kind of crazy. This is strange. So I call his cell phone. No answer. We call his cell phone live on the show. Then in hour 3, we get on with the hotel. And I get on with the hotel and I say, hey, call into the hotel live on the show. Let's make sure that JMart made it to his hotel room. Let's have him answer. No answer in the hotel room. 2 different calls, okay? So fast forward. He leaves at 5:15 a.m. Central. No contact, no response, no interaction whatsoever, all right? And while we're there, we run on to the event. 5 hours later, I'm sitting around wondering, like, what in the world has happened to JMart? Like, where is he? So I continue to call him, text him, no answers. At 11 o'clock Central Time, I decide to call the front desk. And I call the front desk and I say, hey, I don't know how to go about this, but do you have like a protocol in place when you think somebody might be dead in a hotel room? So, because I start thinking, oh my God, what if he died? What if he's dead in his hotel room? And I've been making fun of him about the fact that he might die and then he dies. I don't know what's going on with the position in general, but if he dies, that's not good. So I call to the front desk. I've never done this before. Talk to the front desk girl. I'm like, look, my coworker here is on the 13th floor and he won't answer text messages. He won't answer phone calls. Can you send somebody in to make sure he's still alive? And she's like, oh, you mean a wellness check? I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I need. So security, I have to send security for the producer of my show, the guy who should be making my life easier in all respects. I have to call the hotel security and send them up to do a wellness check. They have to barge in using a key to check on him and make sure he's actually alive. And then I get a call from the front desk. I was like, look, and I don't know. I mean, if he's dead or if he's alive, can you just call me back and let me know? Because I was thinking about putting up a poll, is JMart dead or alive? And then I started thinking, what if he's actually dead? Is this going to go viral? Is this going to come back on me? Are people going to be like, oh, JMart's dead because of Clay? I was like, the last thing I want to be responsible for is his dying. Even if, I'm more concerned about me being responsible for his dying, let's be honest, than him actually dying. So they bang in through his door. They find him there. I get a telephone call from the front desk, and she's like, sir, I just want to tell you, your friend is alive, but he told our security people that he's very sick and that it's not because of the alcohol. Think about your life. If you are the guy who wants to go on the zip line, if you are the guy pounding vodka waters, you show up for work for 15 minutes at the Super Bowl, which is a pretty big deal. The security has to barge into your room, literally has to barge into your room to make sure you're alive. And when the security gets there, you say to me, through the security, I want it known that the reason why I'm not at work is because I got sick, not because of all the alcohol I drank, but because I just happened to get sick the day after all the alcohol I drank and after the 3 hours of sleep that I got. JMart is trying to play the security guards to keep me safe. And I almost had to go get a cop to go check on him too. We had to do a welfare check. By the way, the Eagles are staying in this room, in this hotel. They're all over our floors. We're on the 12th and the 13th floor. You can't go anywhere with all the security here. What do you think the Eagles thought when they're all on the 13th floor getting ready for the Super Bowl and fucking JMart might die on his floor and all the security swarms around his door and has to break it down basically to make sure that he's not dead? I can't believe it. 13th floor, JMart, it's all Eagles. Somehow we got in this hotel. The 12th and the 13th floor is all Philadelphia Eagles and me on the 12th floor and JMart on the 13th floor. So like Nick Foles is just walking down the hallway and the guys are actually breaking down the door to check and see whether JMart is still alive. I can't believe I don't know how our show succeeds. I just saw the big lead came out and said Clay Travis has got the 4th best national show in the country for radio. And I do it all despite the fact that I'm surrounded by total incompetence. I got my producer of the show, the guy who's supposed to make my life easier, and I'm having to do a check to see whether or not he's alive when we go to the Super Bowl. I can't take him on the road. He doesn't show up when he drives a quarter inch when the snowfall comes. Here I am slowly dying because I'm working so hard, and everybody around me is full of shit. All right, what questions do you have about JMart? We're going to have to repunish him. It's going to be the open of the show tomorrow. And I'm going to bring in all the witnesses to JMart's behavior. I'm going to put them live on the air. We're going to have to get the full story out because I just don't buy the fact that he had 8 vodka waters after losing 150 pounds in a year. Doesn't show up at all. There's no way that this is remotely related to anything other than the alcohol. Any question? I think the comments are way behind. By the way, I don't think I start off the show normally. I'm Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show presented by Oddshark. Go to Oddshark for all of the gambling and informational needs you might have, especially as we get ready for the Super Bowl. And I want to remind you, go check out thehomeloanexpert.com. Make sure that you get hooked up there. They'll turn a 4% rate into a 2% rate. They'll wipe out all of your credit card debt. My guy, Ryan Kelly, will take care of you. Tell him that Outkick sent you there, and you get a year's free VIP when you close. That's thehomeloanexpert.com. So what should I do to him? I mean, I'm genuinely curious what you guys think I should do to him. Biggest event of the year, Super Bowl, one of the biggest days of the year, and my man shows up for 10 minutes of work, almost dies there at the desk, literally like laying there, arms akimbo, sweat pouring off of him everywhere. He leaves so quickly, he left his laptop and his bag. And I knew it was a bad sign when I met him in the morning and he looked so rough and he couldn't keep up with me on the walk of like 5 minutes. I beat him like 2-1 to make sure we're there all the time. It's not a hoax at all. People say like, is this made up? There's 100% truth to this. I had no idea he had any issues at all. I had no idea that he had too much to drink. I show up for work. I don't care what other people do, right? And he just vanishes. First segment in, he's gone. And so I have to do the woke report all by myself. I have to talk about the Fighting Irish. Like that was a moment for him to actually hook up. I don't know. I mean, Jason Martin, you give him like 2 decisions. You give him like 2. I swear to God, he's like a kid who grew up in a bunker underneath the ground and then suddenly emerged fully grown at 35 years old and had no social experience prior to this moment other than watching television and the internet. Like you give him 2 choices, like the normal person decision and the abnormal person decision. And amazingly, JMart picks the abnormal personal decision every time. It makes for great radio because I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen with him. But he's like a fully formed adult that skipped all of adolescence and all of his 20s and everything else. Unbelievable. So that's going to be the open of the show tomorrow. Like, we're at the Super Bowl, and I'm not even opening the show talking about the Super Bowl or having any of our guests on. I've got to get him on to explain himself to start the show. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna make him go outside tomorrow and just stand outside in the cold and report on how cold it is throughout the first hour of the show after he has to get this set up. All right. I'm also on the internet at the hotel. Everybody always complains when I'm on the internet at the hotel, but I'll tell you this: the internet here is better than the internet on Radio Row, which is basically unfunctional. So that's the truth. He's already done a polar bear plunge. You guys can come follow me. As always, at Clay Travis on Twitter. Okay, a couple of other things I want to get to, and then I'm going to have to leave the hotel for the first time in 80 hours and go out to dinner with the Fox Sports Radio people. Probably not JMart, because I'm assuming he might not be at the show tomorrow either. There's no telling how many days inconsistently he's going to absolutely miss. I didn't remember the vodka waters. I thought he only had a couple. I got the info later about the fact that he had 8 vodka waters, and not only did he have 8 vodka waters, but he told our boss. The vice president of Fox Sports Radio gets there, my guy Scott Shapiro, and he's like, was this Jason Martin thing real? Like, he's listening to the show on his commute in. And I say, no, it's totally real. And he said, oh, you know what? He told me that he had 8 vodka waters. And I say, he told you that? I needed you on the show earlier because we didn't have all that info. I didn't know he had how much of the drinking he actually did. Again, this is at the Super Bowl party, so that's the truth. All right, couple of other things. Fox has bought Thursday Night Football. Big buy for Fox. Now, this is not going to make any money. This is likely going to lose a substantial amount of money, but I think the reasons why everybody did it is because why they decided to do it, Fox, because they're selling all those assets to Disney. This is why it happened, right? They're selling all those assets to Disney, and they wanted to be able to prove that they're still in the business of making big-time live sports plays. And so I believe that's going to actually end up being a smart play because it's important into the overall situation of the NFL. So they signed a 5-year deal. They're going to have all Thursday Night Football games. Hearing Gus Johnson maybe calling those games, not sure exactly what's going to happen, but that is a big deal. Also, we got the Alex Smith and the Kirk Cousins trade. The Alex Smith is being traded to Washington. Now, Kirk Cousins is going to become probably the highest paid free agent quarterback in the history of sports. Here are the most recent odds from OddsShark, all right? Here are the most recent odds from OddsShark for where Kirk Cousins is likely to end up if you are an NFL fan. These are the top 8 teams you can bet on. The Jets plus 150, they are the favorite. The Broncos plus 200. The Cardinals plus 450. The Browns plus 600. The Bills plus 600, the Giants plus 1,200, the Jags plus 1,200, and the Dolphins plus 1,200. All right, circling back around to JMart. Does anyone actually believe that JMart happened to actually get organically sick after getting tanked and getting so hungover that absolutely nothing other than that had to do? I just want to see your responses right now, and I know they're going to be a little bit delayed because of our internet connection. But does anyone actually believe that JMart was actually sick and it just happened to correspond with his not showing or his departing from work and actually getting sick at the same time? Does anybody buy JMart telling security, sorry, it wasn't the alcohol, I actually got sick here? So nobody does. Not one single person will believe him right now on Facebook. Does anybody actually believe that? I don't think anybody does. Now, in JMart's defense, this happened to me. A couple of years ago, I went to the Tennessee, and I believe it was the Tennessee-Alabama game. I went to the Tennessee-Alabama game, and I was gone on the road all day, although I didn't actually drink that much. This was the game where Alabama just blitzkrieged Tennessee. Well, one of many, but the one in Knoxville.